Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Shock. We're going to talk to you about why atheism is not the default position. Many atheists will say, well, in God. And this is a lie. The atheists are lying when they say that. They're incorrect.
Okay, first of all, being incorrect isn't necessarily a lie, but I know that kind of talk sounds good when you're attacking what you perceive to be an enemy. It's also an underhanded logical fallacy known as poisoning the well. You see, you say something bad about your opponent, something like he's a willful liar, with the intention of discrediting or ridiculing everything your opponent is about to say. But that deceitful tactic aside, it's clear Shocky doesn't understand what is meant by the statement that atheism is the default position. I'll let him move forward with his train of thought for now, however, before I point out his error.
In fact, every time they do a Gallup poll, a Newsweek poll, a survey, it actually says the majority of Americans here, I'm in the U.S., believe in God. So belief in God is the default position, not atheism.
This underscores Shock's misunderstanding. Those polls survey beliefs as they've come to be held. A default position is one held prior to convincing of another point of view.
Check this out, and then we'll go right. It says Newsweek, 91% of Americans believe in God, only 3% atheists. Atheism is not the default position. 91% is the default position. 3% is the foolishness.
There's a difference between a default position and a majority one. Again, I'll explain this more to our Christian friend in a moment, but I had to show you what Shocky does next.
Let's put this atheism foolishness where it belongs. So,
A Newsweek poll showing a majority of Americans believing in God is atheist foolishness that needs to go into the garbage can. I don't know. It just shows how clueless Shocky is.
but atheism, listen, you guys got to quit saying you're the default position. It shows how ignorant you are. It's not the default position. You just saw that the majority of people believe in God. I'm the default position. People that believe in God are the default position.
Okay, it should be clear who's the ignorant one. Having a majority opinion about something doesn't mean it's the default position in the sense in which atheists use the term in regards to theism. Let me make this so easy, a Christian motorcyclist could understand it. When my children were born, when all children are born, they are not born believing in God. They have to be trained to believe in God. Their default position is atheism. They lack belief in a deity. My children, for example, have never come to me after looking out over a sunset or after a hike in the Colorado Rockies and asked me about God. In fact, until the idea of God was introduced to them by a neighbor kid, they had no idea such a notion existed. So do you get it now, Shocky? That's what we mean by atheism being the default position. Doesn't matter how many people have been fooled away from their initial atheism, the fact that they had to be taught about God is evidence that atheism is the default position in the same way that long hair is default, if not for scissors and a pair of clippers.
Give me a head with hair, long beautiful hair, shining, gleaming, streaming, flaxen, waxen. Give me down to there, shoulder length longer. You baby, there, mama, everywhere, daddy, daddy. Grow it, show it, long as I grow my hair. Never have to cut it 'cause it's not by itself.
Here are a few things my children, and all children, did instinctively as infants. Notice that not once does a child instinctively do this without instruction. Shocky, with all undue respect, you claim to have once been an atheist. If you were one of the dumbest atheists on the planet. And when you left us, our population percentage may have gone down, but our collective IQ levels rose dramatically. What's really funny, however, is to be aware of this, but uses the Bible to argue otherwise. Here's what he said. Put your coffee to your Mountain Dew down.
Now, do you guys know that the Bible clearly says that everybody believes in God? Did you know that? It is not something that someone has to learn about. It's in our nature. Do you know how certain birds will fly a certain direction for the winter and etc. And beavers know how to build dams and stuff like that. It's built into them. God put this into their nature, and God put in man's nature this belief in him.
Yeah, and what's Shocky's proof of this?
Wait for it.
This is biblical. Go look at the first page of Romans. Every single person believes in God. It's built into us. Now, I would also like to ask my sweet, lovable, cuddly atheist subscribers, would you do me a favor? Would you read the Bible at least once? Please, go open up the first page of Romans.
Romans? Why start at Romans? If we're going to start reading the Bible, why not start with the first page of Genesis? That should be an eye-opener.